This is the latest evolution of my DIY dental toothpaste, tooth powder, making a fresh batch up here. Follow any of this at your own risk. This is simply what I'm doing. Not a professional in the dental field. A quick batch of toothpaste, tooth powder, whatever you want to call it. That's the container I'm going to put it in, or the ingredient. So first I'm going to put in the powders. So xylitol. Now I consider this thing full at about an inch down from the, maybe a little more than an inch down. So I'm going to fill this thing about that high. And first I'm going to dump in the xylitol, fill up half that volume with xylitol. So I just have to shake, break it up, kind of turns into a solid lump. The xylitol is pretty loose if you don't pack it or anything. So I'm going to go like halfway with that. That's actually a little more than half. It's probably a little too much actually. Okay, so about that much xylitol. And then I'll put about as much baking soda in. I use these old spaghetti cheese containers for my baking soda. Okay, so far about, a little more than half xylitol. And I've overdone it. I got too much in here. So, be careful, make a mess. So I should have used a little less xylitol. Pure oil of oregano, very strong. Don't overdo this. I'm going to use 2 or 3 drops. I'm going to use 3 because I'm used to it. If you're not used to it, I would use 2. There's 3.5 because I shook them out. And the next oil I use a tiny bit of is tea tree, which is actually slightly toxic. Delete this if I was going to make this for somebody else. Or if there's any danger of kids or pets getting into it, but there really isn't. So I'm only going to I'll put 3 drops of that in too. So those are my strong oils, my oregano and my tea tree. Eucalyptus oil is the main ingredient of this. I'm going to use quite a bit more. I'm going to use maybe like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And peppermint I'll use about the same amount, maybe even more. Peppermint's mostly just for flavor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now I'll try to mix this up a little bit. And then I'll start adding in the last ingredient, which I'm going to make a mess of because I've overfilled this. And the last ingredient, and I'll use as much as I can, this is what I'm going to add bit by bit. I'm going to add bit by bit so that I can get the right consistency. I'm going to go for a paste, kind of. Okay, so I'm using coconut oil, and I'll get the softer drug. It's pretty cool in this room, so it's not going to be soft. In a warmer room, this would be like, if you keep your house 72, this would probably be like half liquid. I don't know that it makes it any easier to... I'm going to need quite a bit of this. Let's see how that does. And still a little more. Not really coalescing like I like it to. I'll get by with a whole other spoonful. The last ingredient is calcium apatite. I don't know if this is the right form. Again, take all my advice with the, let me put about 8 of these in here. This mixture. Or more, like 9 actually. So, quack quack. But that's what I do. And calcium apatite is supposed to help. Again, I don't know if I have the right form really here, but it's supposed to help with cavity prevention, kind of like a fluoride substitute. Again, quack quack. And I'm going to save one in case my batch needs a little refresh down the road. So this gives like a grainy, kind of like little gummy, little grains of gummy grains like as you brush. When you first brush, this mixture is very abrasive. My dental hygienist was concerned about that. It turns to liquid in your mouth. So go easy at it when you first use it, because as you first use it, it's a lot of, I don't really know what the hardness value is to any of these ingredients, but most of them turn to liquid, you know, after a little bit in your mouth. The calcium apatite stays kind of together, little granules. I kind of like to gnaw them together in my mouth. Well, this is perfect. And I used a generous amount. I usually use a little less, but I think I like that I used a generous amount of coconut. See, now it's starting to coalesce like I like it. This is about right. Mash it up a little more and call it done. And I cleaned the counter before I did this, so I can use the spills on my toothbrush before I clean the counter again. I'm not a professional in the dental field and have no qualifications whatsoever other than vigorous YouTube research.